Hey guys, this is Rahat Rashid from GameBlurb, and welcome to the premiere of GameBlurb Extraction, where we take a look at the recent trailers and dissect the nitty-gritty details. Today we'll be looking at the newest Resistance 3 trailer that was recently shown at the PlayStation Experience event in London. The last time I saw a Resistance 3 trailer was at the Spike VG Awards, and although it looked great, I was kind of unimpressed. With that said, this one completely makes up for it. It looks completely different from Resistance 1 and 2, which isn't a bad thing. Resistance 1 and 2 looked great in their own merits, and at the time they were released, but Insomniac is pushing the limits. I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing here. But let's go on to the details. I mean, there isn't really much we can make out of the area. There is a diner and some derelict school buses, but the most interesting point is the citadel structure on the horizon, which looks similar to the structures we've seen before in the previous games. It does somewhat seem to be reminiscent of Half-Life 2 for those of you who know that I'm talking about, but otherwise it seems like there's something going on. It seems like it's a power structure. From those of you who know that the ending from Resistance 2, you could try figuring out what it may be, but there really isn't much we can make out of it. Moving on, now we see some Resistance soldiers coming out to the fight on a wave of Chimera. This time we won't be playing as Nathan Hale, but as Joseph Capilli, and if you got through Resistance 2, you'll know why. Let's stop here for a minute. Now, this is one of the new Chimera we'll be encountering in Resistance 3. They seem to be very agile and are able to leap quickly from point to point, which will be pretty interesting to see how dynamic they will be within the environment they are in. Here we see the standard Chimera that have been found throughout the series, and as we move into first-person mode, you'll notice once again how great this game looks. But that's not all. Let's pause here for a moment and take a look at the HUD. As you can see, it seems like Insomniac has returned back to the series roots, and we now have a standard health bar again. This definitely is welcomed, as many fans, including me, felt the regenerative health system was quite unnecessary. I mean, it was a design that's been overused, and Resistance definitely did not need it. And as you can see here, it seems the Chimera can explode after death. Most likely a malfunction in the equipment that keeps their bodies cool. I don't remember this happening in the past games. Now, this is probably the best thing about the trailer. Yeah, the weapon wheel. It was completely left out from Resistance 2, and that was a huge disappointment, but it's definitely a heartwarming return in Resistance 3. We can see the Magnum from Resistance 2 is there, as well as a classic such as the Auger and the Bullseye. And I forgot to mention this, but if you take a few seconds behind, you'll see a Chimera using the Auger secondary fire, which creates a shield. Not sure if the Marksman is the same rifle that we've seen in the last two games, since the design looks much different from what I've remembered. If we take it that this is the final design for the wheel, I guess it's safe to assume that there will be 12 unique weapons for us to play with each of their own alternate firing modes. And knowing how creative Insomniac can be with their toys, I'm eagerly waiting to find out. Though the biggest thing to notice is that it seems that now you can level up your weapons. If you take a look under the Bullseye, it seems to have a level 1 marker under it. Kinda interested to see how the system will work and whether it will make its way onto the multiplayer portion of the game. Let's pause here once again. You'll notice the Bullseye iron sights have seemed to improve, but the most intriguing part is the HUD once again. If you take a look at the bottom right, you'll notice a grenade icon, and next to it are 3 more slots. So I guess we can assume that Insomniac's definitely upped the amount of secondary weapons. In a few seconds, we'll see the Bullseye working its magic with its alternate fire. Love that gun. Last but not least, we see another new Chimera, which seems to resemble what I'd like to call a mutated Juggernaut. It'll be pretty interesting to see if the Chimera get any bigger like the way they did in Resistance 2. So that's it for the Resistance 3 Extraction. Looks like it's going to be even a better game from Resistance 2. Seems like Insomniac is definitely listening to its fan base, and that's something that we don't see many developers put a lot of effort into. There are developers that do so, but Insomniac is really taking it to the next level. It seems like it's going to be just as good as Fallen Man. Dare I say it, even better.